the chosen ones. What I'm going to say may surprise and possibly shock you. If you're seeing this video right now, it's not by chance. God has sent you here because something significant is occurring in your life. They finally found the real you. Yes, you heard me correctly. The authentic version of yourself, the essence of your existence, is being disclosed in ways that will have you dumbfounded. This isn't simply about people seeing you as you are. It's about fully embracing your genuine self. This is more than simply a change in perspective. This is a spiritual and energy metamorphosis. As a chosen one, you'll begin to watch events develop that will help you understand how great you actually are. However, you must grasp how this works in order to connect with this profound insight and completely embody the manifested form of your actual self. Before we get into this life-changing lesson, pause the video and complete 3 things. Hit the like button, subscribe to help us achieve 10,000 subscribers, then write a comment with the number 11. This number will send a strong signal to the cosmos, boosting the energy in this movie. And remember, if you are genuinely a chosen one, you will watch this video all the way through because your soul knows it is for you. If you're not prepared to accept this fact, you may not make it to the finish. However, for those that do, their lives will never be the same. Now let's get started. They finally found the real you. There is a part of us that others may never comprehend. A core of power that is uniquely ours. You donned a mask for years, attempting to fit in and giving them the impression that they had influence over you. But deep inside, you knew something that others didn't. Your power was not theirs to govern. They never realized how much of their own foundation was built on the energy you unintentionally provided them. You see, they depended on your light. They assumed their world was stable, but it wasn't about them. It was always about the authority you emanated and how you made people feel safe. They didn't comprehend that without you, their frail universe would collapse. You were the source of their stability, and when they recognized it, they were unable to appreciate the magnitude of what they had taken from you. Their world was formed with your efforts, and without you, it's starting to break apart as people realized the truth about your power. Everything changed. They felt they had power over you, but now they realize you were the one who controlled the reins all along. What looked to be your vulnerability is now their biggest dread. You are a force of nature that they can no longer ignore. But this is your time of power, your opportunity to shine brighter than ever before. You are no longer just a participant in their game. You've taken the stage as the star. Have you ever experienced that moment when everything changes? A moment when you realize you've been playing little for too long, that you have hidden your light in the darkness of fear. It's like waking up from a long, complicated dream and returning to your own world. For years, you were instructed who you should be. Others have manipulated, molded, and formed you. But the truth was always there, waiting for you to discover it. The moment you understood you had great power was both scary and empowering. It was a spark that lit something inside you, a revelation that no one else can ever control your fate again. The world may have attempted to define you, but you are not defined by them. Expectations. You are characterized by your own power and purpose. This awakening was more than simply restoring your power. It was about remembering who you were always supposed to be. Your power was never intended to be confined. It was always yours to wield, to construct the world in your own image, to move mountains and bridge seas. When you woke up, there was no turning back. You began traveling your own road, led not by fear but by a profound, unflinching belief in yourself. The world may not have understood you before, but now it must watch as you grow. Some individuals in our world live on control. They think they can control your every movement, influence your choices, and mold your world. They utilize emotional coercion methods, using your worries and weaknesses to create this sense of control over you. But they don't realize that genuine power cannot be controlled. It flows freely from inside, unaffected by their techniques. For years, they manipulated your emotions, convincing you that their strength was your support. They attempted to make you believe that without them, you are nothing. But deep down, you knew the truth. You were not reliant on them. You were merely kept back by their delusions. You had the strength to break free. However, you were waiting for the appropriate time. The moment when you look in the mirror and see the true you. Not the version they made, but the one that was always waiting to be uncovered. They employed every trick in the book to keep you in line and retain control over your life. However, their hold was feeble, and you were never theirs to govern. They misjudged you, assuming they could control your future. But you've seen through the smoke and mirrors, and their efforts at control just highlight their own vulnerabilities. The illusion has destroyed, and you are free. It is commonly believed that the strongest individuals do not need to proclaim their superiority. The true power lay in the capacity to empower, not stifle, those who attempted to dominate. You didn't get this. They lived on manipulation, preying on your weaknesses, gradually undermining your confidence, and spinning webs of deception to keep you in their clutches. They donned a charming mask, presenting a picture of unshakable strength. But below, they were vulnerable, longing for the affirmation you unintentionally supplied. They based their power on your energy, harnessing your light to illuminate a world that would otherwise be dark. But the instant you saw through them, the mask cracked and the carefully constructed facade began to disintegrate. You didn't fall for their tricks once you knew what they were doing. You stopped contributing to their manipulation. Their attraction faded, and their carefully created world started to crumble. They were no longer in charge because you reclaimed what was rightfully yours. Your autonomy, confidence, and energy. For so long, people have written your tale. They told you who you should be, how to act, and what you should seek. They influenced your choices to lead you along pathways that fit their wants and objectives. But you've always had your own story ready to be written, a narrative that was special to you. And now you're taking the pen back in your hands. Reclaiming your story is more than simply altering your circumstances. It's about altering your perspective on yourself and your role in the world. You are no longer a passive character in someone else's narrative. You are the hero of your own trip. You control what happens next. Every action you take, every choice you make, shows your actual objectives and aspirations. Breaking away from external influence is a really courageous deed. It needs you to believe in your own strength and capacity to make your own destiny while embracing your real self. You cease looking for affirmation from people who have never really seen you. Instead, you seek satisfaction from inside, knowing that your tale is one of courage, tenacity, and unquestionable strength. Relying on the strength of others has an inherent fragility to it. It may work for a while, but ultimately the fissures appear, revealing a society based on borrowed confidence, the trust that others will always support and uphold. You were never as powerful as those who attempted to dominate you believed. That power was nothing more than a dangerously built house of cards ready to collapse. They believed their confidence was self-made, that they had created their own kingdom. But the fact is that your energy, generosity, and strength were what kept their world together. Without you, they were nothing. And as you walked away, regaining your freedom, the very foundation they had established started to unravel. What seemed to be power was really only a mirror of your own light. And now, without you, they are left vulnerable, unable to recreate what they once had. Their world, based on trickery and borrowed power, is disintegrating. And when everything breaks apart, they are forced to face the reality. They never had control. You were. But now it is your chance to rise. Nothing can stop you. The world that formerly sought to dominate you must now bear the repercussions of underestimating your might. When the truth eventually comes out, people who deceived you may have a dreadful discovery. The concern is not just about losing you. It's in recognizing that their power over you was never actually theirs. It was based on your enthusiasm, compassion, and readiness to offer. And now that you've taken it back, they're left to face the frailty of their own life. The dread of losing control is overwhelming, but it pales in contrast to the freedom that comes from reclaiming your authority. They're hustling, attempting to reclaim the upper hand. However, they cannot. Their once pristine veneer is eroding, and, As they fight to maintain the illusion of power they formerly exhibited, they discover they never had the control they believed they had. It was all an illusion. Your freedom has struck shockwaves across their meticulously crafted universe. Their hold over you has vanished, and in its place lies the unsettling reality. They were never completely in charge. It was always you. Now, while others grapple with their own failure, you emerge stronger than ever, ready to face your truth and seize the life that is properly yours. True power isn't about dominance. It is about emancipation. When you know the totality of your power, you realize how unlimited you are, no longer restricted by that manipulation. You have entered a realm where you are free to be your true self. As you advance, you will be able to pursue the life that represents your innermost wants and ideals. There is no going back. You are no longer the person they believe they could manage. You are a force of nature, unaffected by their expectations and empowered by your own reality. Every move you take is a proclamation of your power, a declaration that you are in control of your own fate. Your transformation is more than simply an interior adjustment. It is a palpable power that others can see and feel. Confidence, which previously seemed unattainable, has become a constant flame that cannot be extinguished. The world may want to put you back in a box, but you are no longer limited. You are infinite, unstoppable, and in complete control of your own destiny. Every day, kids feed off your enthusiasm, generosity, and readiness to share. They depended on you to keep them steady and grounded, even while they attempted to dominate you. What they didn't comprehend was that you were the one who kept them afloat without you. Their world would have collapsed, but they were too blinded by their need for power to see. This quiet fight was not one of open combat. It was an exchange of energy. You provided without recognizing how much they were receiving. Your compassion and patience were seen as flaws, yet they were really the foundations that supported the lives of others around you. They would have crumbled long ago if you hadn't maintained your unshakable strength. Now that you've recovered your power, you realize the reality. You were the anchor. You were the one who kept everything together. And once you break away from their control, they are left stuck, unable to recreate the assistance they previously took for granted. Their world starts to crumble under the weight of their own failures, and you emerge stronger than ever. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is crucial. For so long, you let others determine your value, choices, and direction. However, you are now confidently pursuing your goal. You will no longer allow anybody else to define you. You have decided to be real, to accept your true self, and to follow your heart's calling. This is when everything changes. The power you previously gave up is now pouring back into you, powering your path ahead. You no longer seek acceptance from those who have never appreciated you. Instead, you attempt to harmonize with your own spirit. The energy that was previously stolen by others is now channeled into your aspirations, interests, and future vision. As you embrace your mission, you are no longer confined by fear or uncertainty. You are self-assured, focused, and ready to face whatever comes your way. The route is yours to forge, and with each step, you get closer to the life you were destined to live. As you grow, they are forced to face the truth of their own frailty. The sorrow is apparent. They discover too late that they never really comprehended the extent of your might. They believed they could dominate, manipulate, and extract what they needed from you without ever recognizing your value. But now they must confront the repercussions of their deeds. Their regret is not limited to losing you. It's about learning that their power was never really their own. It was borrowed from you. The energy they extracted from you to maintain their illusion of control has now vanished, and they're left in the dark, searching for the strength they once had. They are left with a yawning hole, a reminder of what they had taken for granted. However, you are no longer a source of power. You have progressed beyond them, and the might that once powered their world now propels your own. Their sorrow is their own responsibility to bear while you go onward, unafraid and unstoppable. You have experienced an astonishing shift. You've gone from being enslaved and governed by others to asserting your own sovereignty. This is a rebirth, the removal of old skin, a stunning awakening to the reality of who you are. The trek was difficult, but it was vital. You had to go through the battle to comprehend the extent of your own resilience. You will no longer be dragged down by others' expectations. You are entering a life of freedom in which you have the power. Every choice you make reflects who you really are. It's not a sacrifice to fit into someone else's reality. You are the master of your own destiny and emotions. Nothing can steal it from you. This metamorphosis is more than merely restoring your power. It's about accepting your genuine self. You are no longer defined by what others want or expect of you. You are the personification of power, knowledge, and clarity, and you have completely embraced your destiny. You are unstoppable, therefore the rest of the world best watch out. The liberation that comes with realizing your true self is unparalleled. It's like bursting out from a prison you didn't realize you were confined in. When you finally resolve to live according to your own truth, the possibilities are limitless. You will no longer be bound by the expectations or judgments of others. You are free to be yourself. Embracing your authenticity entails staying firm in your own truth, regardless of how the world reacts. It is about rejecting the desire for external affirmation and finding serenity inside your own heart. Your honesty is your strength, and if you truly accept it, nothing can stop you. You become a light for others, demonstrating that they, too, can break free from society's restraints and live their most authentic, powerful lives. This is the life you were destined to live, one of freedom, confidence, and purpose. You are no longer weighted down by the dread of being judged or rejected. Nothing can stop you from traveling the road you've created for yourself. The sun rises, and a new chapter in your life starts. The darkness that previously kept you prisoner is disappearing, and you are on the verge of creating a future for yourself. The world that previously strove to dominate you has faded away, and all that left is the victorious light of your actual nature as others fight to embrace your metamorphosis. You continue to climb. Their defeat is your triumph. The power they stole from you is now propelling you ahead. You are no longer bound by the bonds of manipulation or fear. You're free. And with that freedom comes an unwavering route to the life you've always desired. This is only the beginning. The beginning of your new life is here. Nothing can stop you now. The world is at your feet, and you are prepared to take it all in stride. This is your moment, and the opportunities are infinite. You have emerged triumphant and stronger than ever before. Every person has a wealth of untapped potential and energy inside them, ready to be unleashed. For years, you could have felt like you were holding back, as if the world expected something from you that you couldn't quite provide. Perhaps you believed your inner nature was too much for others to bear, so you concealed it under layers of conformity and fear. But then came a moment that rocked your foundations and made you understand that the potential inside you was never supposed to be concealed. As you realize your own strength, you started to view the world through new eyes. You were aware of the restrictions that had previously held you back. Suddenly, the shackles seemed inconsequential. The world no longer required you to shrink to fit in. It became a canvas, and you, the artist, were prepared to produce something great. The cosmos has always conspired to make you great, but you were finally tuned into the messages it had been giving you all along. This awakening was more than just a revelation. It was a whole metamorphosis of mind, body, and spirit. You started to perceive yourself not just as a part of the world, but also as a force capable of shaping it. Every stride you made was filled with renewed confidence, as if you had awoken not just your intellect, but also your soul's innermost impulses. The energy you had formerly held back now flowed freely through your veins, driving you onward with irresistible force. With this revelation, you were free of the chains of fear and uncertainty. You went into your full potential, eager to reveal all you had concealed. This was your moment, the start of a trip that would change your life. Your soul had realized its true purpose, and nothing could now stand in the way of your destiny. You were no longer an observer. You were the creator. Nothing feels more liberating than shedding the false identities you've been carrying for years. The world encourages us to fit into boxes, perform roles, and portray versions of ourselves that are often disconnected from our genuine identity. You may have played along, adopting titles and identities that were not your own, until one day you couldn't deny the smothering sensation they brought. The fact about self-discovery is that it does not occur in one instant. It is a continual journey. However, there comes a time when you understand that what you've been looking for has always been inside you. It's as if a curtain has been removed, and you can finally see yourself clearly. You begin to accept the aspects of yourself that you formerly dreaded, the distinct quirks and features that define you. You no longer feel compelled to shrink in the face of expectations. You begin to feel confident in yourself. Liberation is the prize for daring to peel back the layers that have disguised your actual identity. It is not about perfection. It's all about genuineness. As you explore your depths, you understand how much power lies in vulnerability. The more you let go of the illusions and masks, the more you will be able to access the deep power that has always been inside you. This is your essence, the truth about who you are. This newfound independence is breathtakingly lovely. The world becomes one in which everything is conceivable. You are no longer bound by obsolete ideas or cultural standards. You are the creator of your life, and you've opened the door to your most honest and unfettered version. Only you can define yourself. This is your trip, and it has only just begun. The past often keeps us hostage in ways we don't even recognize. Memories, situations, and even people from our past may drag us down and keep us from pursuing the future we deserve. You may have carried these invisible shackles for years, feeling bound by actions and circumstances that no longer serve you. The weight of regret, remorse, or wasted chances may have been too much. Yet deep down you knew that letting go was the best way ahead. Breaking out from the past demands tremendous guts. It's not only about forgetting what occurred. It's also about realizing that those events were learning opportunities rather than life sentences. The shackles that formerly shackled you were made up of your own thoughts. Those lies you created yourself about who you were or what you couldn't accomplish after realizing that the past no longer controlled you. You begin to realize how much room it was taking up and how much energy it was sucking. Letting go is not a one-time choice. It is a continual practice of choosing to go ahead even when the past attempts to sneak back in. Every day is a chance to reinforce your resolve to live as the person you are becoming rather than the person you were. When you let go of old habits and tales, you open yourself up to new possibilities. Yesterday's limits no longer control the future. It is determined by the decisions you make today. As you shatter the bonds, you realize that the future you've always wanted is there in front of you. It's not a far-fetched thought. It is palpable and can be molded by your actions. The past no longer has authority over you. With this freedom, you are able to live the life you really wish. The shackles are removed, and you are finally free. Every great person has struggled at some point. Life is designed to test and challenge us in ways that push us to our limits. But what distinguishes individuals who overcome hardship is their capacity to turn difficulty into strength. You too have endured their fair share of challenges. There were times when it seemed like the world was against you. Despite this, you emerged from the experience stronger than before. The difficulties you encountered are more than just chapters of misery. They are the experiences that have molded you into the person you are now. They taught you resilience, persistence, and the unwavering confidence that you can overcome anything. Each difficulty you faced simply strengthened the basis of your power. With each trial, you gained confidence in your capacity to succeed in the face of adversity. In the middle of suffering, you realized your actual strength, the kind of power that comes from confronting and rising above hardship rather than avoiding it. This power enables you to convert every setback into a learning opportunity and every failure into a stepping stone. You've learned to embrace difficulty rather than dread it, for it is through suffering that we are genuinely formed. When you look back on the road, you see not the suffering, but the strength that sprang from it. The difficulties you previously believed would break you have simply made you stronger. You are a force of nature, ready to face anything comes your way. Patience is a rare and frequently underappreciated virtue in a culture that values rapid satisfaction. However, when you look at the big tapestry of life, you understand that everything happens in its own time. You've spent years waiting for possibilities, for the perfect time, for anything to happen. And although you may have wondered whether you'd ever find your path, deep down you knew the wait was worthwhile. Patience is not passive. It is an active condition of trust. It is the idea that, despite delays and setbacks, your turn will arrive. You've learned that everything has its own time, and that hurrying or pushing things only results in resistance. When you accept patience, you let go of the need to have everything worked out right now. You believe that life is unfolding precisely as it should, and you are exactly where you are supposed to be. The road to where you are today has needed enormous patience. Waiting for growth. We are waiting for clarification, waiting for the appropriate opportunity. And although it may seem that nothing is happening, you are in fact being prepared for something larger than you could have dreamed. Your patience was an investment in your future, enabling you to emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your real path. Now that the wait is over, you can see how well everything fits together. Lessons, difficulties, and quiet times of thought. They've all brought you to this point. Your life was always timed perfectly. It was always great. As you go ahead, you may be certain that you are precisely where you need to be. And the future you've been yearning for has finally arrived. One of the most crucial skills you've learned on your path is how to establish limits. For so long, you may have given so much of yourself to others, sacrificing your energy and calm in the sake of relationships, work, or duties. However, you eventually realized that giving without bounds left you exhausted. You were overworking yourself, and your health suffered as a result. Boundaries do not need the construction of walls. They are about building environments in which you may flourish without compromising. They are the invisible boundaries that safeguard your time, energy, and mental wellness. When you started setting boundaries, you saw a significant difference in how you felt. Less exhausted, more at ease, and more connected to your actual self. You discovered that it is not selfish to save your energy. It's vital to learn to say no, prioritizing your needs and recognizing when something or someone is not serving you is a strong kind of self-respect. It's a technique to prioritize yourself and your well-being above everything else. The more you practiced establishing limits, the more confident and powerful you felt. You no longer felt bad about prioritizing yourself since you realized that doing so allowed you to be your best self for others. With clear limits in place, you're better prepared to deal with whatever life throws at you. You understand how to maintain your quiet, preserve your energy, and generate the space you need to flourish. This is your life, and you will no longer allow anything or anybody to disrupt the vibe that you have worked so hard to develop. Uncertainty is a normal aspect of life, yet it is also one of the most unpleasant experiences we have. We seek security, stability, and predictability, but by embracing the unknown, we get the strength to continue ahead even when we don't have a clear image. Your road has not been straightforward. It's been filled with twists, turns, and terrifying moments. However, each time you confronted the unknown, you found a way to muster the bravery to confront uncertainty. Isn't born with all the answers. It stems from trust, the belief that whatever occurs, you will be able to manage it. Embracing the unknown entails entering a situation in which you have no control over the outcome but can influence your reaction. It entails believing in yourself, understanding that you are strong enough to weather any storm, and accepting ambiguity. You've learned to enjoy the journey rather than the outcome. The unknown has become a source of development, a fertile ground for fresh opportunities. Instead of being afraid, you've learned to view it as an exciting experience, one that will challenge you in ways you never imagined. With each jump into the unknown, you've learned more about yourself and your tenacity. The unknown no longer inspires terror. It represents potential. You've discovered that the most important lessons of life are taught in the unknown, and it is there that you have matured into the person you were always intended to be. With bravery as your guide, you accept the uncertainty of the future, knowing that it will take you precisely where you need to go. You spent years living in the shadow of society's concept of success. You worked hard to achieve external goals such as money, prestige, and recognition, thinking that these would offer you satisfaction and contentment. But no matter what you accomplished, you felt an emptiness that you couldn't understand. The fact was that you were following someone person's dream, not your own. It was a watershed moment when you learned that success isn't only about achieving external expectations. It's about connecting with your own ideals and interests. True success is defined by how satisfied you are with your own skin, how genuine your path is, and how deeply you connect with your mission. When you stopped comparing your life to others, you began to perceive success as a very personal experience that was uniquely yours. Your concept of success started to shift. It was not about moving up the corporate ladder or earning tangible riches. Instead, it was about living a life that spoke to your spirit, one that filled you with calm, pleasure, and a feeling of purpose. You discovered that success is not a goal, but a way of life. It all comes down to striking the right balance. As you accept this new meaning of success, embrace progress, and doing what ignites your spirit, you feel more happy than ever before. You've stopped judging your value against the standards of others. You are successful because you live truthfully, which is the most genuine sort of success someone can accomplish. There is a force inside you that has the potential to transform the world. You may have believed for years that you were just one person in a large globe, unable to make a difference. However, as you've matured into your genuine self, you've discovered that your potential is infinite. The energy you once believed was inert has transformed into a tremendous force capable of moving mountains. This inner force is derived from a profound feeling of self-awareness and purpose. You have a clear picture of what you want to accomplish and are determined to make it happen. It's the type of power that comes from knowing you're connected to something bigger than yourself, a mission that will impact not just your life but the lives of others. Harnessing this power does not imply pushing things to happen. It implies letting your energies flow spontaneously. When you embrace your power, you attract opportunities, people, and resources that support your objective. You're no longer seeking success. Success is attracted to you because to the enthusiasm you exude. As you go on with your newfound authority, you understand that nothing can stand in your way. You are an unstoppable force, and the world is waiting for you to make an impact. Your goal is clear, your heart is in sync, and the energy you radiate is unstoppable. There comes a point in life when we must face the fact that not everything we've clung onto is intended for us. Whether it's outmoded ideas, relationships that no longer benefit us, or behaviors that keep us stuck. Letting go might seem like a difficult effort. It's tough and often tragic to let go of the things that want to find us. But deep down, you know that clinging onto the past is hindering you from becoming the complete version of yourself. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It's about creating room for something bigger. Every time spent clinging to the past is a moment lost in the present as you gradually abandon what no longer serves your future. You understand that the weight you were carrying was never yours to bear as you let go. You are not losing anything. You are acquiring the chance to evolve. The act of letting go becomes a deep act of self-love, a means of declaring, "I am prepared for more." It's difficult to let go, particularly when you've based your identity on certain objects, people, or events. The beauty, however, is in the freedom you experience after releasing them. As you begin to release the burdens of the past, you enter a universe of unlimited possibilities. You find yourself breathing better, thinking more clearly, and opening yourself to new experiences. This is the power of letting go. The capacity to turn sorrow into possibilities and loss into release by mastering the skill of letting go. You enable the cosmos to take up the areas formerly inhabited by old tales and out-of-date dreams. The future, full of promise and excitement, starts to emerge in ways you could not have predicted. You understand that letting go of the past was not a loss at all. It was the first step in living your most fulfilled and colorful life. You're prepared for the next chapter, and it's much better than you could have imagined. In a world that continually strives to determine your value by external metrics, it is easy to lose sight of your genuine worth. You've undoubtedly spent years looking for acceptance, comparing yourself to others, and questioning your own talents. Society often leads us to assume that our value is determined by our accomplishments, looks, or how others view us. But deep down, you realize that genuine value comes from inside. And only when you acknowledge your own worth can you begin to live truly.